Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay Will. So this is the Meiigoo S8. Now I got this phone about 2 weeks ago and I've been checking it out. I've been using it and I haven't had very many things that I could complain about, like as far as like regular day-to-day use. It's actually pretty solid. I mean, it's got 4 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs onboard storage with an SD card. I mean, it is a dual nano SIM with dual standby. You can only have LTE on one of them or 4G or whichever you're getting. Bluetooth 4.0, GPS, everything works good on here. Phone calls, SMS, everything is actually working good on here. Now, it does have a MediaTek processor in here, the 6750T, which for this phone is, it's flying right along. This phone is a pocket-friendly, as far as price goes. It's only $162 right now. And check the link in the description because this is actually one that I would recommend to AT&T customers and Cricket customers, especially Cricket customers, because they have to pay full cost for their devices pretty much. And I think they have, I don't know if they have finance or not, but I know, you're going to pay a pretty penny. So this one is $162 and you get the new 18:9 ratio, but you get it on a flat display. So it's no curved sides. So it's a pretty good field of view is what you get here compared to some other phones that are much more narrower that have that 18:9 ratio. So again, this has a 6.1-inch 1080p display. That's 2160 by 1080. This is actually pretty good, man. I mean, when I get these phones, I get them because I want to try to figure out, can I pick it apart, or is there going to be a lot of bad stuff? Well, the only flaw that I found for US buyers, this isn't for all buyers. And I say it's a flaw because, and I know this going into it, but I still like to test them all. You're only going to get 3G on 3G/4G in some areas with AT&T and Cricket. And anything that runs on the AT&T network, you're pretty much good to go. You'll be able to stream and do everything you want with the 3G service. Trust me, I've been doing it. And the speaker on this thing is really loud. So this is the speaker right here, and there's a microphone on this side. Now this does have Type-C with the headphone jack. SIM tray and an SD card slot is up top. You see the little antenna bands and stuff that go all the way around. Signal on this thing has been really, really good. This is a beautiful phone. It looks like a kind of a little bit thicker Galaxy S8. It's got a 6.1-inch display, folks. This is pretty good. So let me put that in perspective for you here. Let's grab the Note 8. You can see how it is. Now the Note 8 has a 6.3-inch. This has a 6.1. So you get some sense of how big the phone is. It's a little bit smaller than the Galaxy Note 8, but it also has just a little bit smaller screen, and the footprint is nice. This phone feels really good in the hand. I mean, it feels fantastic. The display on here, I'll start with that. It is 1080p, but it is actually really, really good. So when I talk about the display, I guess I'll fire up a video here and let you test the speakers. And this is over the 3G networks to give you some idea of where I live at. 3G is really, really fast. Well, it's not that it's fast, it's stable, I'll say. I shouldn't say it's fast, it's stable. And so the quality of the display, coupled with, streaming and things like that, and you'll just look at the display, listen to the sound of the speaker if you can pick it up. I know it's probably kind of hard to get a real sense of what a speaker sounds like over a video, but here you go. So, I mean, the footage on here is really, really nice. The quality of the display is good for what it is. I want to play another video real quick so you can kind of see how long it takes to buffer over the 3G. Back to another video. It's your man Jay Will. So some of you guys have actually asked me to review the Canon EOS M100, and I'm thinking, man, I haven't had it long enough. I haven't had it where I've really gotten used to it yet. But you know what? It's just based on quality. So you can see streaming over the network isn't bad. I'm going to scan forward and see how it buffers with the 3G. Now, I've been using this over the 3G. You can see how long it actually does by scrubbing the timeline.
To review the Canon EOS M100. It's been good so far, and yes, I'm having doubts. I'm human. Yes, I put it against some smartphones. Yes,
So that gives you some idea of how good the speaker is, how good the display could be for you. I think at this point, I really would recommend this phone to AT&T and Cricket owners, predominantly Cricket owners, or like prepaid people who are using the AT&T network, because the 3G that I'm getting in my area is very stable, and it's just very solid. I'm able to stream and send SMS. I'm able to do everything with this 3G network. T-Mobile customers, unfortunately, if you could pick it up, but I would suggest stay on Wi-Fi as much as possible. Even when it's on T-Mobile and it's on Edge, it still runs, it's definitely really slow compared to 3G. But when you're on Wi-Fi, you can't tell the difference. So the display, the sound quality, and using it over 3G for me has been great. I don't have a complaint with that. That's why I'm only kind of predominantly recommending this for people. If you're on the go a lot, if you're on Wi-Fi all the time, then I suggest everybody, this is a $162 flagship looking device with some pretty good flagship specs, the gigs of 4 gigs of RAM, the 64 gigs onboard storage. The cameras are decent. They're not flagship quality. I shouldn't use that terminology. They're good. I'm not going to compare it to flagship, so to speak, because that terminology is just thrown around so much. We don't really know what a real flagship is, I guess, at this point. But whatever we perceive to be a flagship. But what I will tell you is that this device cameras are doable. I mean, you think of the price, it's $162. Look at this build quality. This phone comes in black also and gold, but I like this blue. This blue is beautiful because the blue has like this little light blue pattern around the edge of the display. You can kind of see it. But overall, my experience with the phone, I started with the 3G network, and because people always ask that during videos, and I think a lot of people just don't watch the video, they skip through. So I'm starting with that, so you guys can get that answer. So if a person asks that question, you guys light them up in the comments. The 3G network for me has been good with AT&T and Cricket. The streaming capabilities have been fantastic. The display to me is good. This is an 18:9 ratio display that has the flat display. Let me see, grab something else here. Like this is the Q6, which has a 5.5-inch display, but it has, look how much smaller this thing is. The footprint is much bigger, but this has a 6.1-inch display. So, the Meiigoo S8 is a good phone. Now, battery life is where this phone really shines. I mean, it's got a huge battery in it for this MediaTek processor. It has 3,300 milliamp hour battery, same size battery as the Galaxy Note 8. But it's going to perform better on here because of that 1080p display. Because I leave the Note 8 cranked up to Quad HD. I mean, that's what I want, and that's what I got it for, the beautiful display. So I'm going to keep it at Quad HD, and battery is pretty good on there. But battery on this thing is 3,300 milliamp hour battery, and it performs very well. The fact that this phone has, now when I said earlier it had flagship type specs, that means Type C, a very loud speaker, a headphone jack, which is kind of a bonus today. SD card slot, has dual cameras. I mean, I don't know what else I could ask for. It's got the new 18:9 ratio. It's got premium hardware. It's just that this one is blue. If this one looks kind of cheap, I think this looks really sweet, man. I'm tired of having a black and a white phone. That's why I went this blue, because the blue is eclectic. It's different. It stands out. Not that I'm trying to show off, but it stands out. It's just a beautiful. You can see the design of the phone. Now, this came in white also. That will be really cool, but it comes in gold, black, and blue. So overall, my experience with this thing hasn't been bad. It's been actually really good. And so I can definitely recommend it for Cricket and AT&T users, because that is where I was predominantly using it at, and it shined. It flows right along. Now don't get me wrong, 3G is not as fast as LTE in some instances, but if you're just using this phone, you're not walking around with an LTE device and a 3G device, and most people are not. So your experience is going to be good. So just wanted to let you guys see that, you know, the Meiigoo S8 is actually pretty hot for the US if you're using it on AT&T or Cricket. So it's your man Jay Will. I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.